Hi there folks, welcome to RRTV. My name's Bernie Weemers and we're coming to you live tonight from Monza to cover the first round of the Australian Formula 1 Championship. This is a pre-race test round, but saying that, we have a huge field out there at the moment. Last count, 46 cars, so if they all take to the grid, folks, it's going to be an exciting night. But before we get into it, I'd like to introduce my other commentator, and that's Brent Tucker. Welcome, Brent. It's looking pretty amazing out there tonight.
Hey Bernie, yeah, thanks for having us up here. I'm really excited for this. The series is definitely looking like it's going to take off tonight, and with a couple pro drivers of Kazuki from Radical Steel Series and Riley Preston from ERA. It's definitely looking like it's going to be a cracker of a night with such a large field, so hopefully we see some epically close racing and hopefully it's all going to be clean.
Yeah, and it's great to see those two pro drivers down here having a run tonight, but it looks like a few of the guys out there are giving them a run for their money. At the moment we've got Aaron Lee. He's 7/10 of a second below Kazuki, so that could be interesting as the race unfolds, but I'm guessing the pro drivers will probably come to the front as this race progresses.
Yeah, definitely. Aaron's actually closed that gap. Kazuki's done a 23.1 for a provisional pole position at the moment. Aaron's on a 23.5.16, very closely followed by Evan 123.565. So it's definitely very tight up the front, only 4/10 of a second in it to the pro drivers. So Aaron's definitely on the money tonight, and hopefully we'll be able to see those two scrap it out throughout the race.
Yeah, that's for sure. And folks, they've got a 30-minute qualifying tonight. The trick, I guess, Brant, is trying to find some free track out there to get that one lap run in. I know a lot of guys have put banker laps in, but 10 minutes they're going to want to get down to serious business.
Yeah, the trick is going to be trying to get that clean space, but also try and get enough of a gap to the driver in front where you might be able to sneakily use their slipstream to assist you in your lap. So be interesting to see what the boys do here with only 5.5 minutes to go. So be interesting to see who jumps up the order and who can try and really take it to Kazuki there in pole position at the moment.
Yeah, we can see Riley out there at the moment. He's sitting in 44th. He's on a flyer now, so I'd expect to see him jump up through the field pretty quickly if he can get that fast lap. I think this is the first lap he's put in, so it'll be interesting to keep an eye on him.
Yeah, Riley being another one of those two pro drivers we mentioned before, with Orion Simsport, I believe, in the Pro Series. Also drives for ERA, so no doubt he'll have one of those pro setups to use tonight, and I'd expect to see him up the front if he can get a clean lap in.
Yeah, so it looks like we should get a clean... Well, he's got 9 minutes, plenty of time. So once he sets a lap, folks, we'll let you know where he qualifies as we see one of the laser racing cars there go off at Lesmo. But let's have a look at our track map. So as you can see, folks, there's two DRS zones here tonight. We've got Redifilo Tribune, the main straight. There's a DRS there. Then out of Lesmo 2, once they get onto Seraglio, I think that's the right straight, down towards Ascari, there's another DRS zone there. So we'll keep an eye on how that unfolds tonight. As far as weather goes, it's mostly cloudy out there. Wind speed's 8 kilometres an hour, so not a lot of wind. Track temp 33 degrees Celsius, so it's probably pretty nice conditions out there for the Formula 1, and hopefully those tyres can remain hot enough.
Yeah, definitely. As we see Aaron close that gap now to only less than 300ths of a second between Kazuki, so he's definitely right up there now. Aaron's just done a 23.146, so he's definitely got some pace to burn in that Redback Racing Formula 1 car, so hopefully we might see an upset for pole position here, Bernie.
Yeah, well, it's 0.003 of a second separates Kazuki from Aaron at the moment, and I know Aaron pretty well, and he's very competitive, and I know he loves this sort of car, so it'll be interesting to see what he can turn on tonight. But before we get into it, we've also got Shane Rayner up here. Shane, I think this is the first of the races for the AF1C, and you must be happy with the amount of drivers you got out there.
Yeah, thanks, Bernie, and Brandon. Yeah, no, it's good. I hope it stays that way, like through the season. Obviously, week 13, there's a lot of guys looking for something to do, and just hope that they keep coming back. This track's pretty tricky if you're learning the car. Like it's got big curb stripes into turn 1 and whatnot. It's as easy as it looks. It's actually quite a hard track. So I think the next track's Spa. That should be a better track for drivers who are learning how to drive the car. They should be able to get a bit more flow going.
So, I know this is like pre-season testing. I'm not sure. Is it a fixed season or setup, or is it an open setup championship?
It's open setup, but what we're trying to do is we've set up a Facebook page with shared setup. So anyone that wants to grab a setup and then just fine-tune it to their liking can go to the AF1C setup on Facebook and grab the setup from there.
Okay, fantastic. And I know you're running another couple of rounds before the championship kicks on in 2017. Do you have any idea when the championship's expected to start? How long do you think it's going to go for? How many rounds? And anything else you can tell the viewers? Just to put you on the spot, mate.
We're gonna kick off round 5 of the official calendar, which is Imola. So that'll be round 1 of the league series. So we're going to do four pre-season races leading up, following the calendar. So as the iRacing calendar goes along, when we get to round 5, we're going to kick the series off then.
Okay, fantastic. So we're here round 1 tonight. I might actually get the dates of the other rounds off you, so we can get that on the Facebook page, so the viewers can get some more information on this great series. Because I know that a lot of drivers are really excited about it, so I'm hoping a lot of our RRTV viewers will also love the Formula Ones.
Yeah, look, it's hard to get a race in the F1s in an Aussie New Zealand time slot, and with daylight savings at the moment, it's even trickier to sort of set up the league, because Western Australia is so far behind, and New Zealand's so far ahead, and we've got all these different time zone things going on. But so we're sort of still fiddling. I'm still looking at a race day and time to finalise the series. So I'm not sure. We've got it penciled in for Thursdays, and with Monday being a 4-hour practice session. So it's a day before we flick over to the Tuesday when anyone can practice. So we're trying to get the practice session up a day earlier than what the official practice session will come up. The second round is Circuits of America, and that's on the 12th of the 12th. And then we've got Spa following that. So I'll just have a look. So the pre-season, we've got Circuits of America, Spa, Monza, and then I think we go to Imola for the next track. I think we miss a week or something. I don't know. I'm not sure. I can't see what's going on here.
Oh, that's all right. I'll get the dates off for you later on.
But anyway, Imola is the 1st to the 12th, and that's a Thursday. But like I said, we're still sort of playing around with dates and days at the moment, because I might try and squeeze it in on a Saturday, just because of the daylight savings and the different time zones that we've got going on. But I'll have to be careful about where we stick it on a Saturday night, because it can't interfere with the blanket pane or any of the other series that are already running. So sort of still fiddling around with times and days at the moment.
Yeah, it definitely gets a bit tight trying to find that right time to get the maximum drivers, as well as not conflicting with those championships. I tell you what though, at the moment, Riley Preston's still trying to get a time in here, guys. He hasn't been able to set one. With 2 minute 45 to go, he's sitting down there in 45th.
Yeah, I certainly wouldn't write Riley off for the race. Him and Kazuki are going to go pretty toe to toe, I would think. But it's a big field, and there's some pretty fast, just A-class licensed guys out there. So it should be a good race.
Yeah, it definitely should be. Well, anyway, Shane, thanks for popping in, mate. We're going to get down to some serious business here, me and Mr. Tucker, and start getting ready to call this race. Have you been doing your breathing exercises, Brent?
Yes, I'm alive, so that's a start. Suzuki's the first and only driver into the 22s now, so he's done a 22.8. Aaron's still in P2 on a 23.1, so he stretched his margin to 0.3 of a second, but hopefully Aaron can close that down, because it should definitely be a close race between Kazuki and Aaron. If they can keep that kind of pace up during the race, it's going to be a freaky and awesome race if they can do that, that's for sure.
Yeah, it certainly will be. I did see earlier he was trying to get a good toe off his teammate Brett Wilson out there, but they came into what's the name of that final corner? This is how professional I am tonight. Parabolica, and Brett came unstuck, and Aaron had to avoid him and aborted the lap.
Well, that's unfortunate. That may have been able to sneak Aaron up into the 22s as well. He's not far off, but yeah, it's definitely shaping up to be a cracker of a race with only 0.35 of a second between them. So very, very close. Riley's not happy in team chat at the moment, so hopefully I'm still struggling for him to get a lap in, so he'll probably be starting down the back and have to charge his way forward. If that's the case, that's going to be one car to watch, that's for sure, Bernie.
Yeah, well, he's he's exactly 46 now, dead motherless last, I guess you could say. So he's got a lot of work to do. We just saw him parked on the side of the track. So if he takes the grid, it's going to be very interesting to see how he goes in the 35 laps around here. At the moment, folks, your top 5 are Kazuki Umeshima. He's on provisional pole and looks like he's going to hold it. And his fastest lap, as we said, was a 1:22.8. Aaron Lee sitting in second, still on a flyer, and he's just hit the wall, so that's him done. 1:23.1. Jason Hyde sitting in the pits in third. Evan Lethoris fourth at the moment. And your top 5 is Mitchell Searlack.
Good, that's a good lap by Mitch. He only joined late in the session, so good to see Mitch from ANZ pulling into the 23s. So definitely very close. Only 1/10 of a second really separating 5th and 6th, and another from 6th and 7th. So the guys are very close out there, and hopefully the race will be as close as qualifying is.
Yeah, it certainly will, but there's so many cars to get through here, so I'm going to start reading out the grid. It may change a little bit, folks, but at least if I get a head start, we might have a chance of getting through this huge field tonight. So let's have a look at the way the grid stands at the moment. So Kazuki Umeshima, he's going to start from pole position, followed by Aaron Lee in second. Jason Hyde will come out in third position. Evan Lethoris fourth. Mitchell Searlack is in fifth. Starting out as 6th, Michael Hammond, followed by Guy Leach. Scott Kozlowski is starting out of 8th. Brian Borg out of 9th. Matthew Barron will start out of 10th. Out of 11th, Aaron Farmer, followed by Shane Bowen and then Brett Wilson. Ryan Parkins out of 14th, and 15th is Dylan Shepherd. Out of 16th, we've got Alex McCullough. 17th, Paul Lonergan. TJ Brown out of 18th, and Rory Boyd out of 19th, with Scott McKee starting in 20th. Out of 21st will be Jason Bentz, followed by Grant Hines, Matt Stratford, Craig Jones in 24th, and 25th is Joseph Falcamada. Out of 26 will be John Courtney, followed by Mark Noble. 28th, Wayne Taylor, then Daryl Carter, and Chris Barnes rounds out your 30. out of 31st will be Daryl Hockey, followed by Trey Rimke. Daryl Scully out of 33rd, Jamie Owens 34th, 35th is Damien Charleston. Out of 36 will be Darren Lesu, followed by Nathan Grouden. Kent Walker out of 38th, 39th is Riley Preston, 40th Adam Zeitinger. 41st is Louis Paolo Gallen, followed by David Jellings in 42nd, Ryan Shelton 43rd, 44th Simon Pitt, Scott Goodman will start out of 45th, and then that is our field. I was going to say Shane Rayner, he starts out of 46, but you're not driving, are you, Shane?
No, I was hoping to, but I didn't get my new PC this Friday. It's coming Monday apparently, so I missed out.
So as we can see, folks, the grid is forming. We can see Aaron Lee out there already. He's starting from second position. Then Umi, I've forgotten his name now. I'm going to restart. Mr. Umishumi, as I call him, will be starting from pole position.
Good lap there by Kazuki in qualifying, Bernie, to get that 22.8. The only driver in this field to get into the 22s. So definitely 46 car grid if Mr. Braden is on the grid, which he's not. So 45, correction. Definitely a huge field for this first race. So turn one will be very interesting to see if they can all get through, that's for sure.
Yeah, when they go into Redifilo, it's going to be really interesting. 46 cars plummeting down there. Riley Preston, he's going to start out of 40th here, so keep an eye on him, folks. But it's going to be all about the pro drivers tonight and if they can lose some of these other guys. But a huge field, and we should be racing very shortly. And it looks like Alex McKellar, he normally calls the races for us on the Monday night. He's out there in 9th, so keep an eye on him as well. 36 laps around here, folks. We're under starters orders now. Green light, and we are racing here at Monza. Oh, we've already had a car into the fence. It was one of the orange cars. Not sure who that was, but a clean start for the front of the field here.
Aaron takes it down into turn one from Kazuki, so that was a good move from Aaron. He's got a bit of gap, only first corner, but Kazuki's dropped back a few positions, so bit of a moment there. It's very close for P2, 2, 3 and 4 here, Bernie. Aaron's got a nice margin out in P1 at the moment.
Yeah, and it's chaos back here in the back of the pack. Riley Preston was nose to tail. We've got a few cars broken suspension already, struggling back to the pits. So let's jump up the front at the moment. So it's Aaron Lee, followed by Mitchell Searlack in second, third, Evan Lathoris, and then Kazuki. He is sitting in fourth position at the moment.
Yeah, he's right on the tail of Evan as we go down into Ascari here, so he'll have the slipstream, but he won't be able to do anything as they head through this section of corners, down heading towards Parabolica now. He'll should maybe try to make his move here. He's right on the rear bumper of Evan here as he pulls out of the slipstream to try to go around the outside.
Yeah, too wide into Parabolica, and Kazuki goes around the outside, and that goes to show the skill of this guy. Now the next guy on his list will be Mitchell Searlack, and we'll see how quickly this guy can move forward. Riley Preston, as I said, was in a bit of trouble earlier on, but his car's untouched, and he's already up to 19th.
Yeah, that's a lot of positions gained on the opening lap there for Riley, so well done for him to coming from, low 30s right up to 19th. So that's 20 odd places I think he's gained. So well driving from Riley, and it won't be long before we see him up into the top 10, top 5, Bernie.
Yeah, and the biggest thing Riley's got to keep an eye on will be the other cars around him, because some of these drivers are relatively inexperienced to the sort of people he'd be used to racing against, and he's just going to have to make sure he stays out of any other trouble that might come his way.
He's just going to have to play it smart here. That's pretty much what it comes down to. Smart, and just not get caught up in anyone else's shenanigans and just pick him off at the wise spots. But Riley, being a pro driver himself, he should know that. So we should hopefully see him up the front with a clean car and be able to give Kazuki and Aaron a run for their money.
Yeah, well, he's up to 17th. We're riding with him now. He's coming up to take another car. That's 16th. So you know, we were expecting this to happen. I didn't expect him to come through so quickly, but it does show the calibre of his driving. At the moment, though, up front, Aaron Lee's leading, but Kazuki is now past Mitchell Sealak. He's in second, and he's got a 1.6 second gap to pull in here.
Kazuki will have the eyes on, that's for sure, Bernie, trying to hunt down Aaron, but Aaron just has to do clean, consistent laps, hold his line when Kazuki does inevitably reach him, make it a bit difficult for him, and hopefully we see these two guys go hammer and tongs through the entire race, because it's shaping up to be an awesome battle already.
It certainly is, and the other interesting thing is going to be when these guys get into DRS zones. I'm not sure when the DRS kicks open, whether it's, you know, the second lap. I'm just not across it for iRacing, but that's going to be interesting. 1.6 seconds though. What do they have to be in, do you know, before the DRS can be used?
I'm not entirely sure, Shane.
It's
You'd
1
have
second.
more information on that, wouldn't you?
It's
So-
1 second in the zone, and you get a light comes up on the dash on the left-hand side, and then when you can activate it, 2 lights come up on your dash on the left-hand side of your steering wheel, two green lights. So 1 second behind the car in front.
And as you were saying that, Riley Preston did us the honours. He opened his DRS and we saw the flap open, and off he went up to another position. 14th for Riley Preston at the moment. Having a look at the front though, Aaron Lee is still leading. 1.3 seconds is a gap. Aaron's last time was a 1:25.738. Kazuki's was a 1:25.489.
So there's that 0.3 of a second again that we saw in qualifying, Bernie. There's a really good battle shaping up at the moment between Brian Borg and Guy Leach for 10th and 11th here, as we see Brian go around the outside of that DRS open, and then he overshoots the first chicane, so that'll give Guy that position back, and Brian will most likely drop a position or two along with that as well.
Yeah, it's the, as they said in New Zealand, that's the chicane of shame when they have to go through there.
He had the move on, just carried too much speed into that chicane. As we know, it's a very, very tight chicane, but there's a very, very close four-car gaggle here, so from 10th down to 14th, potentially even through to 15th here, Bernie. They're all very much line astern, very much within that DRS striking distance, so be interesting to see who plays what cards here and what happens with this battle. Definitely one to keep an eye on as we get further into this race.
Yeah, it certainly is, and not far from this battle is Riley Preston. He's now come up to Scott McKee in 13th. Riley's got the DRS open. He chooses not to make a move, and he tucks back in, but we can expect him to come out here as he takes to the outside, and tell you what, he is an amazing driver. Just look at the way he can place that car just about anywhere on the track.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me, Bernie, as I said in qualifying when we were off there, that if he may have a Pro Series set under him to give him that confidence to, you know, supplement his driving skills, and as he goes around the outside of Parabolica, so that's another position gain for Riley in just a matter of half a dozen laps. He's gone from high 30s, down up all the way up to 11th. So very good driving as we see Scott try to make a move down the inside, but just couldn't hold it. Riley holds that position in P11.
Yeah, I was holding my breath then. The other thing that's helping Riley a lot in all this traffic is he's getting DRS twice a lap, and that's really helping him get that extra boost and get around these guys. And he's just got to watch Scott, because Scott's not going to give up, and he looks hungry for that position back. Meanwhile, up front, the gap at the moment, folks, is 1.4 seconds. So it's stretched out by 0.3 of a second between Aaron and Kazuki.
Just reading in driver chat, Mitchell Ciolak, who was sitting in P4 or P5, has actually had an incident and is sitting in pit lane at the moment, all the way down in 30 seconds. So that'll elevate Riley up to up to a top. Oh no, still P11 at the moment. Sorry, Bernie. But yeah, Mitchell Ciolak's had an incident, and I think he maybe used one of his fast repairs and coming out of pit lane now.
Yeah, and I'm just having a look at our telemetry, folks, to see if I can pick up when he had that incident. We might jump back and have a quick look and see if we can work this out. So we'll just Go ahead, Brent.
Sorry. While you're doing that, Benny, Kazuki's closed that gap to under a second now, so he'll start to have that DRS enabled to allow him to catch back up to Aaron. So the front, they've got over a second margin to P3, so these two are going to be fighting it out for the next half a dozen laps, that's for sure.
Yeah, and we just had a look at the incident there, folks. Sorry I didn't put on super slow-mo, I was awestruck there. Basically, Mitchell lost it in Parabolica, Brant, and he got nerfed, you could say, by another driver, and he got launched so high, I thought he was going to go and hit the moon, but he actually launched it right across the fence, and he was probably about 5 stories in the air before he landed that car.
Yeah, right, okay. That's a that's a fairly hefty accident there, so unfortunate for Mitch, he was running up the front very nicely, so that's unlucky. He'll be down the 30s somewhere now, so it'll try to be somewhat of a recovery mission for him at the moment to see where he can try and recover that car. But Kazuki's coming right up beside Aaron, and he'll get Aaron on the main straight to take P1. That come out of nowhere, so Kazuki back up to P1. Aaron's tucked in right. He might think about a move into turn 1, but tucks it back in. Kazuki in P1.
Yeah, and it was pretty incredible, wasn't it? He not only used the toe, he positioned the car on the inside, and then he cracked open that DRS, and he passed Aaron like Aaron was in a Skip Barber.
Yeah, it was a very, very good move. Aaron's just going to try and keep with him, though, because if he can keep within that 1 second, he'll have that DRS that'll enable him to keep with Kazuki. So that's all Aaron's got to do. Try and get that DRS open, as Aaron, I think, had a bit of a moment in the second chicane there, sorry. So he's dropped off a bit, but hopefully he can catch back up and give us the battle we're looking for.
Yeah, definitely. And meanwhile, the Preston train continues forward. He's up to 6th position now, Riley Preston. He taken another 2 positions, but now he's got a 3-second gap up to Scott Kozlowski, one of your young chargers out there, and it's going to take him a bit of time, I think, to close that gap without DRS, but I could be wrong. He could just blitz through the field and take this race in the next 5 laps.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how long it takes for him to catch up to Scotty. He won't have the assistance of DRS for twice the lap, so hopefully Scott can just play it smart, keep that car clean, and try and hold off Riley as long as possible. But given the calibre of Riley Preston we've seen so far, yeah, I won't expect much of a battle. That's not a dig at my driver, that's just Riley being Riley. So, yeah, we'll see what happens as Riley's up to P6 now.
Yeah, and out front, Kazuki, he stretched that gap out already to 1.8 seconds, so he's running away now. Aaron did have a slow previous lap. He lost 2 seconds, and we saw him slow exit out of one of the chicanes there, so he might be struggling a little bit trying to keep up with Kazuki, but that's to be expected, I'd say.
Yeah, you can only expect. I'm only expecting Kazuki to run away with this now, being a pro strip driver. So it wouldn't surprise me if he just runs away now and grabs this win quite easily. Yeah, Aaron all Aaron has to do is just keep it in P2, because at the moment he's got a 9-second gap over Jason Hyde in P3. So Aaron's doing a stellar of a job. Then there's another 3 seconds from Jason to Matthew, and then another 3 from Matthew to Scott, with Riley very rapidly encroaching on Scott now. So not long until Riley will be back within that DRS striking distance, and then the battle will be on for P5.
Yeah, it certainly will. So your top 5 at the moment, folks. We've got Kazuki Umeshima leading, Aaron Lee sitting in 2nd, 3rd Jason Hyde, 4th Matthew Barron, 5th is Scott Kozlowski, and as Brant said, right behind him now is Riley Preston.
Yeah, Riley's only 7/10, so he's well within that DRS zone, so hopefully it'll be interesting to see what Scott can do, as we see Riley close up so much under brakes there. 4 or 5 car lengths quite easily gained under brakes there by Riley on Scott, so he's right under his rear bumper now heading into the 2nd chicane.
Yeah, and we'll see what he's going to do here. I expect he's going to hold off till he gets through Lesmo 2, opens that DRS, and I reckon he'll be making his move there.
It'll be on at Ascari and Parabolica, that's for sure, Bernie. And if Scott can keep back in the draft and get into the DRS zone on the main straight, he might be able to have a crack at Riley on turn 1 as they come onto the back straight now. Riley's right on the rear bumper. DRS wide open. They're going too wide. He should have the move done well before Ascari as he crosses back over and has that move complete. Riley up to P5.
Yeah, and you could see there Scott did try to position his car aggressively there, but Riley wasn't going to have any of that. And he's straight up to P5. Next one is Matthew Barron, 3 seconds down the track. But at the moment, the front runners are lapping in the 125s. That's Kazuki. Aaron's in the high 126s. So is Jason. And then Riley's in the low 26s.
And Scott's last lap, well, that was a 27, that last lap. But previously, before that, yeah, Scott's doing about 27. So he's a couple seconds slower than Riley and these faster guys, but definitely giving it his all as we see Riley up to P5 and very quickly making his way up to Matthew Barron now.
And that must be a fantastic feeling to start dead last, and within 10 laps you're already up to 5th place. You know, that must be so much fun to someone's ego, I guess you could say.
It'd definitely give you confidence in your own driving, that's for sure, Bernie. But then again, he is a pro driver, so it was expected that he was going to move up through the grid at a rapid rate of knots. So yeah, 2 seconds now to Matthew Barron. Riley won't have DRS this lap, but next time by he should.
Yeah, and it'll be definitely, we'll keep an eye on that. And it's great to see at the moment. We've got quite a number of viewers out there, so it looks like the RRTV viewers do like it. We've got 26 live viewers tonight, so thanks to everyone that's tuned in. I hope you're enjoying the broadcast. Let us know what you want to see, and in our commentary chat channel that a number of you are probably in, and we'll see what we can do for you. So I'm just having a look further down the field. It looks like we've had quite a... just click down. Craig Jones is in the pits at the moment, and Darren Scully is out there circulating 3 laps down. But it looks like we've had quite a lot of retirements. Looks like we've lost Darren Lessu, Dylan Shepherd, Matt Stratford, Braden Bateman. I'm not sure if he was running. Scott Goodman, Shane Rayner's not running. He's up here with us. David Jellings, Adam Zeitinger, Louis Paolo Gallen and Simon Pitt. All of those guys have retired. Question marks over Ryan Shelton, TJ Brown, Rory Boyd, Craig Jones and possibly Mark Noble.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. With such a big field going down into turn 1, that was, you know, it was to be expected with such a difficult car as a Formula 1 to learn and try and drive as well. So, good thing it is only pre-season, and that's why we have these pre-season races, so, you know, everyone can get up to speed and then get ready for next year. But the battle for 10th and 11th and 12th is really starting to heat up here, Bernie. You got Alex, Shane and Brett Wilson from Redback Racing all line astern, so Brett's at the head of the train there, so he'll have the 2 cars behind him using DRS. This is for position 8 through to 11 at the moment, so shaping up to be a good battle here in the mid-pack.
Yeah, it certainly is, and we just saw Riley Preston go past Matt Barron there. Riley's up to 4th now, 20 seconds down from the lead. It looks like we might have lost Kazuki as well. No, he's out there, sorry folks. Sorry to scare you. 6.9 seconds is that gap. But let's jump back to this battle, 8th, 9th and 10th. It's good to see Alex McKellar out there having a run. A lot of viewers will know Alex. He helps call the Monday night skippies, and it's great to see him out there having a run. He was really keen, Brent, to jump in the Formula 1, as were a lot of drivers, and he was toing and froing about whether he should commentate or whether he should drive. When you put your hand up, he didn't think twice. He jumped straight in the car.
Nah, well, that's good. That was the idea. I've been wanting to get into do a bit of commentating myself for a while, so, you know, to let Alex go out and actually have a crack at the Formula 1, that's good to see. This battle's starting to heat up now. They're all line astern. There's 4 cars there now. Got Variant catching up with a lap car in there as well, so going to get rather interesting down the bottom of the top end. So they're spreading out too wide. So it's a few damaged cars in there as well. So it'll be interesting to keep an eye on this, Bernie.
Yeah, it certainly will. We just saw Alex go through. We've got Shane Bowen. He's also through. Scott McKee is through. And then, so they're all swapping around, aren't they?
Yeah, it's getting very exciting down here. If there's, I think, nearly two Ferrari liveries in there at the moment. So it's shaping up to be a good battle here. Scott does have a fair bit of damage on that right wing though, so that may be affecting your straight line speed. As I can only hazard a guess that these are much like the HPD, where it's a very downforce orientated car. So if you lose a little bit of that downforce, you're going to be down 3 to 5 k's quite easily down the straights.
I think it hurts your tyres a lot too when you damage your wings.
Yeah,
especially that front wing.
Yeah, I wouldn't know. I've never really driven this car in any sort of race condition, but I tell you what, Riley there, he's 20 seconds down from Kasumi now. He hit one of those bollards coming into Ascari, and the whole front end of that car took to the air.
There has been a few issues there with the suspension where the cars do jump up and potentially roll, so that's something he's going to want to be keeping an eye on. But Jason Hyde from Performance Motorsports doing a fantastic job in P3, but Riley is only 0.6 of a second behind him now, so he'll have that RS enabled heading down into turn 1. So expect this on the back straight, again heading towards Ascari, much like he did with Scott. That will most likely be where he'll get this move done, Bernie.
Yeah, and looking at his last lap, he did a 126.4. That was Riley. Jason did a 127.1. So, the guys out there that haven't driven this car much at all are doing a fantastic job, it must be said. And the quality of racing we're seeing here tonight's really good.
It's very encouraging to see this very good racing so early on in the race, and hopefully it can continue throughout this race and well and truly on into next year, as the battle for P9 now is still well and truly alive, with Brett Wilson and Alex McKellar still going at it with only 0.5 of a second separating them, so that's going to be one to watch. I think that's really the only battle on track at the moment, apart from John Courtney and maybe Damien Charleston. Other than that though, the battle for P8 is really starting to heat up, and of course that P3 battle that we're seeing Riley charge through the field with.
Should just point out too that Jason Hyde does the official series. He's a pretty good driver.
Hyde's just in Parabolica. Riley was going around the outside. There was no contact. Hyde's just unfortunately lost it. It got loose, and he's just hit that right hand barrier. So that's unfortunate for Jason. He was doing such a good job. So that promotes Riley up into P3. Next target for him now, Aaron.
Commentator's curse, I guess.
Yeah, that's it. We're just having a look at the super slow-mo there. He locked a tyre. It was almost like once that other driver, Riley, got beside him, it took away his downforce of that car. I know that happens in real world. I don't see it. I can imagine it would affect the cars in iRacing as well.
The good news for Jason is that he seems to have hit it fairly square on with the wall, so there's no real damage to that front wing. So that's, I guess, a slight positive take out of that incident, is that there's no damage on his car at all, and he'll be able to just continue on. But he does have Matthew Barron hot on his heels now as they head down into Ascari.
Yeah, and once those tyres sort of slide across the track, it can create a few laps of dramas, I can tell you.
Yeah, one of the viewers asked if they heard a TeamSpeak notification. No, you didn't, folks. What you heard was my mobile phone going off as someone sent me a Facebook message. I don't know where the phone is, but I can hear it dinging every now and then. So that's the exciting news from the commentary, folks. The other exciting news is, since this update, I've found quite an unnerving thing happening. If you look at the gyro cockpit cam, the wheel doesn't turn anymore. So it looks like the driver's just sort of glued in one spot, and the wheels just turn.
they might fix that up, Bernie, with an update patch.
Yeah, let's hope. I just found it quite amusing that normally you can see the drivers and you can see them working the wheel, but not at the moment. But anyway, the race is definitely heating up. Riley Preston now 21 seconds down from the leader, and he's about, 7 seconds down from Aaron Lee at the moment. Looking at the times, the previous lap Kazuki did a 1:24.835, fastest lap of the race, and he's 3 seconds quicker than Aaron, and about 1/8 of a second faster than Riley.
Yeah, so Kazuki should have this race on lockdown. He seems to be quite a considerable margin in race pace faster than everyone else. But being from Radicals, that's to be expected. Just looking down at Wayne Taylor, was in position 21. Just hit one of the big bollards there at Ascari. Just flipped the car up. He lost control and unfortunately smacked the wall quite heavily. So that'll be a trip to pit lane for him to get that car repaired, providing he hasn't used up both fast repairs. So that's unfortunate for Wayne. That he's also from PMS. I think we've got 3 drivers from Performance Motorsports in here tonight, with Jason being the highest at the moment in P4.
I'm still sorry, I didn't hear you. I'm still trying to queue up this replay for our viewers of Wayne Taylor coming unstuck here at Ascari.
No, that's all good. I'm just going through the field here, seeing if I can try and find any other good battles that are on at the moment, because Kazuki's lapped everyone up until P13, so iRacing's not giving us the exact gaps between those respective cars.
Yeah, it starts getting a bit tricky, doesn't it, when cars start getting lapped and they go a lap down. There is still a bit of a battle going on here between Shane Bowe and Alex McKellar's just ahead of him in 11th now, and Scott McKee's about a second up the track in 10th, so the gaps are spreading out. Brett Wilson, he's sitting in 9th, 4 seconds up the road, and still circulating out there. You can see now as Riley Preston comes through Curve Grande, coming up to lap another car. That live gap, folks, is 5.8 seconds.
Brian Borg, in the meantime, has had a spin also out of Ascari. Just lost it, and that's unfortunate. No harm done. I don't think he has any damage. He's just had a couple spins, just waiting for the traffic to go so he can safely rejoin and not hamper anyone else's race.
Yeah, we're having a look.
It's a tough track, this one. You can go to low downforce, and you tend to, exiting the corners, just get a little bit wild in the back if you're not experienced with the car.
Yeah, and he hit the wall as well as he ran it across the road there. Meanwhile, folks, Kazuki Umishima, I'll get that right, he set a fastest lap, 1:24.720.
That's not faster than his qualifying time. That's very, very, very consistent race pace from there. That's very fast. As we have a look at Riley's, his fastest laps are 25.3. So definitely, still 0.8 of a second race pace over Riley. So he's got enough margin. All he has to do now is just run consistent lap times, run those consistently faster at lap times, and he should have this race in the bag. Riley is still closing in on Aaron. I think there's 6 seconds between, 5 or 6 seconds between Aaron and Riley, so working his way slowly towards Aaron, but he won't have the assistance of DRS, so it'll just be his own race pace.
And what he's actually doing, Brand, is quite interesting. He's finding like he comes up to a lapped car, so instead of overtaking it, what he's doing is he's waiting to get the DRS, and then he's using that to get a bit more a slingshot, I guess you could say, down those straights. So that's pretty smart driving.
Yeah, that's using the DRS to his advantage. Aaron won't really be having that. There's not many cars around him at the moment, so Aaron's just out there punching his own lap times out at the moment. He's got a couple lap cars ahead of him. That'll give him a bit of an assistance with DRS, but mostly it'll just be Aaron just trying to pump that lap time out himself.
Yeah, and keep eyes forward and not on the F3 box, so he can hit his marks. The gap at the moment, folks, a live gap 3.5 seconds and closing between Aaron Lee and Riley Preston.
Jason Hyde has actually come into the pit lane, so I'm not sure if that's a scheduled pit stop for fuel and tyres or whether he's got damage, because my iRacing is playing up at the moment. So that'll promote Scott up to P5, so Scott will be happy with that at the moment.
Yeah, he didn't use a fast repair. He basically threw some more fuel in it. 4.2 second stop. He's on his way out. Guy Leach also did a similar thing. 4.3 seconds. So a number of guys throughout the field are coming into the pits and taking service.
Be interesting to see what the front runners have and how much fuel they have, whether or not they've been conserving just that little bit in the slipstream, or whether or not they're going to have to come in and do a splash and dash, because that could really spice things up if that's the case.
Yeah, and meanwhile Aaron's had a bit of a slow lap there because Riley's already passed him as they come through Parabolica, and he got past him just after Ascari, and Aaron got a bit loose there, got it wobbled, and Riley pounced, but here comes Aaron back on the outside.
Yeah, Riley positions the car to the inside, so good defensive driving there, just saying you're not going to get this position back for me. So now Riley will have the eyes forward, not really worrying about Aaron behind. He'll try and focus on trying to close that gap to Kazuki as much as he possibly can. So as expected, Bernie, the two pros are up the front, but Aaron being the surprise package, definitely given both of them a run for their money at some point in time in this race.
Yeah, they certainly have, and we just had one of the viewers remind us that they don't have fuel in Formula One.
Yeah, in official racing they don't.
Do they have it in this series?
Not sure about these. I'm not sure, actually, Bernie, to be honest. No, I know in official you can't refill.
Okay, it'd be something to find out in league racing if that's still the case or not.
Yeah, well, that might be true. You might be able to in the league series, not in official though.
So what we're going to do, folks, we're going to jump on board for a lap with Riley Preston, and we're going to be quiet, so crank up your sound, enjoy it. His steering wheel doesn't move, folks, but it's still going to be a ride. So folks, that was a lap around Monza with Riley Preston. I tell you what, Brand, it doesn't take long for him to do a lap around here.
No, it's only a sub 1 minute 30. So as Kazuki, I think we said, did a 1:27. Yeah, 24:7. Sorry. his fastest lap time. So, extremely fast lap time in these Formula 1 cars with the KERS and DRS. So, yeah, the guys are earning their money out there at the moment.
Oh, they certainly are, and at the moment, folks, we've only got 10 cars on the lead lap out of the 46 starters. Alex McKellar, he's the last one on the lead lap. He's 85 seconds down, but still out there, still circulating, still having a lot of fun.
No, that just shows the class of Kazuki, as we see Alex actually drops the lap down, so only 9 cars left on the lead lap now. That's just the class of these pro drivers, Bernie, being able to, lap so much faster and so much more consistently than everyone else.
Yeah, well, they're just so much more confident, which you'd expect, but just look how deep they go in under brakes. They just know the limits of these cars back to front, and they just know how to drive them, which is why they're pro, but they're doing a great job. The live gap from Kazuki back to Riley, 26.9 seconds, so 12 laps remaining. It's pretty much Kazuki's race to lose.
Yeah, Kazuki definitely has this race in the bag at the moment. It's definitely, like you said, his race to lose. All he has to do is just keep doing these consistent lap times, and he should quite easily have this race. They would have to pull, over 2 seconds a lap, if not over 2, definitely over 2 seconds a lap to even have a chance to be behind Kazuki with 12 laps remaining. So he's definitely in a league of his own tonight, Kazuki. Riley's stretched out a 3.8 second gap over Aaron, who's got a 19 second hand margin over Matthew Barron.
You can see Kazuki now going across the line through again. He did a 125.396. We'll jump back to Riley and see what he's doing. His last lap was a 126.396, but we'll have a look and keep on giving these gaps to the viewers.
Scott Selowski, All-Star Motorsport drivers, just had a bit of an incident in the second chicane, so that's brought Aaron right onto the rear of... That's live in this battle up for P5, right open now, Bernie. All three of them are line astern from P5 to P8, so this is going to be a cracker of a battle for the next few laps.
It certainly is, and we've got Aaron Farmer defending from Jason Hyde, while he's also attacking Scott Kozlowski, isn't it? Is Scott in front of him? It is.
Yeah, Scott had a bit of a spin at the second chicane, which was unfortunate, but he just too much curve, and I know what that's like. I've done that plenty of time on the C7, so he just hit too much of those curves and the cars go around. But Aaron pulls out of the slipstream now down the main straight. If Scott can keep it there and go deep under brakes, he might have a stab back at turn 1, but he's just too far behind now. He's got to watch the car behind, but Aaron's up to P5, Scott's down to P6.
And I tell you what, Brant, that ASM paint job's actually throwing me a bit, because from the front it looks like a Ferrari, but then on the side you see all the orange, which is what I'm associating that car with.
Yeah, it's definitely a bit of a trippy livery, but yeah, shout out to Nathan for that, for his hard work on the Formula 1. I definitely was not going to touch it. Was not painting this car for an inch of my life, so I'll let someone else do that for a change. But yeah, this battle's well and truly still on, with Aaron in P5, Scott in P6, and then who's in P6? And then Daryl Carter right behind Scott. So these three will be fighting towards the end of the race, I think, as we see Scott right under Aaron's rear wing heading into Ascari.
Yeah, and I think Daryl right behind Scott is a lap down from what my telemetry is telling me. So he's just hanging in the back there while Scott and Aaron fight it out here.
Yes, my apologies. Next car for position is Scott Mackay, who's 17 seconds down the road. So it's just Selowski and Farmer going at it at the moment, hammer and tongs. So as we see Matthew Barron pull into pit lane, I believe, maybe.
No, he's just coming out through Parabolica now. There's a lot of cars though that look the same. So Matty Barron's there safely in 6th position, 84 seconds down as he comes down Redifilo Tribune for the 25th time.
Yeah, sorry, he must have pit the lap before that because his time was still reading 57 seconds behind Kazuki, so yeah, he must have pit, and then Aaron and Scott have then overtaken him. So only 6 cars on the lead lap now, so Kazuki's definitely showing these guys, you know, what a pro can really do. And this, you know, to think this isn't even one of the fastest guys like Kronka or Hutu, so it's definitely a real eye-opener for us guys, that's for sure.
Yeah, but it's also fantastic for the drivers out there that might have aspirations to think about, you know, going to the World Championship, trying to qualify. This gives them a bit of an idea how good you have to be to qualify and compete at that level. And, you know, it's great for the local blokes to have that sort of insight, isn't it?
Absolutely. As Scott's actually taken Aaron back for P4 now, so not sure what happened there. I can only assume he had the DRS advantage heading down into Ascari and Parabolica. So Scott's back up to P4, Aaron down to P5 as that battle continues.
Yeah, it's definitely heating up between these two guys. I've got to get used to having, you know, in Formula 1 they have a larger gap, but then again they close those gaps up so much quicker than any other car. And if this was a GT3, you'd be saying, well, you know, the guy's cleared out, but in this it doesn't sort of work out that way.
No, Kazuki, as we are just having a look at Matthew Barron, Kazuki's just lapped him now, so only 5 cars on the lead lap heading towards the final 8 laps of this race. So yeah, once again Kazuki definitely just owning this race, making it his own, stretched that margin out to Riley Preston to 27.1 seconds at the moment. So no, and then Aaron's the further 10 seconds behind in position 3. So top 3 don't look to change as much. I think that definitely the main battle at the moment is definitely going to be P4 and P5 for Scott and Aaron.
Yeah, and Aaron's getting another good run out of Ascari here on the back of Scott. He used the DRS to close that gap. Now he's having a look on the outside Parabolica. Scott closes the nose across, but expect Aaron to get DRS down here into Retafilo and make a move.
Yeah, Scott's going to have to drive very, very defensively as he goes to the right-hand side of the track, as we see, but Aaron looking to go around the outside with that DRS open. He'll just walk straight past him, but Scott's going to keep that car there, try and push the point, but as Aaron actually locks up and Scott runs to the into the rear of him, so that's unfortunate, but just a bit of a lock break there for Aaron, going in a bit too deep and caught Scott out.
Yeah, it's having a look at this replay now, and this is when the confidence of braking these cars comes into effect, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Having driven here in the Pro Series before, you know, Riley and Kazuki will definitely have the upper hand with, you know, potentially using pro setups and, you know, having done races here previously, so I know they're braking markers. But yeah, it definitely helps to have that confidence in the car, so just unfortunate for Aaron there, unfortunate for Scott. Scott's got a bit of minor wing damage, but definitely well and truly within DRS.
Yeah, and it looks like, as we see there, Aaron also hitting a bollard going through Ascari. And I tell you what, these cars do seem a lot more, a lot tougher than I would have given them credit for.
Absolutely. Scott goes up the inside of Parabolica, so now Aaron will Aaron does the crisscross and takes the inside at the exit of Parabolica, tries to make a move on Scott, but he decides to tuck back in and get that slipstream.
And he's, what's he got? DRS is not open, but Scott did have DRS, which is why Aaron tucked back in there to keep that slipstream open. And that works for him. He did get a good run there as they just come into Curve Grande here. 6 laps of the race to go, folks. We will stay with this battle, though, because this is probably the battle of the race at this stage.
Yeah, just ducking down through the rest of the field here, Bernie. Can't really see any other close battles like we do with Aaron and Scott. Everyone else is barely spread out, so still only those top 5 cars on the lead lap at the moment. Scott and Aaron have their 1 minute 19 behind Kazuki, so give it another couple laps and Kazuki will most likely lap them at some point in time before the end of this race.
Yeah, we just saw there also as they come out of Della Roggia, Roggia, however you pronounce it, Aaron did put the gas down on that car a bit too aggressively. It did kick sideways and he's lost a bit of ground on Scott. The live gap at the moment is 1.4 seconds, so that's allowed Scott to get outside of the DRS zone of Aaron.
Yes and no, because Aaron will have should have the DRS, I think, for that lapped car in between. So that lapped car will potentially help Aaron get back up into the behind of Scott with that DRS potentially. So it'll be interesting to see what he does here. But at the moment, if Scott can just keep this pace, he should have P4 on lockdown.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And at the moment, there's a lapped car between Scott and Aaron. And have a look at the live gap now. It's moved out to 2.1 seconds at the moment from Aaron to Scott. Looking at the gap further up, folks, Riley Preston is in second, as you know. That gap last time by was 26.59 seconds. Looking at the lap times, Kazuki Umeshumi. Kazuki 125.137, Riley Preston 126.158, Aaron Lee in third. His last lap was a 128.571.
Kazuki definitely, starting to stretch the legs now. He's got the margin. That looks as though the tyres for everyone else are going to hold on. So Kazuki's just making this race his own, as he's lapped Aaron and he's going to lap Scott by the end of next lap. So only two other cars on the lead lap. So he's lapped pretty much the entire field. So definitely a very, very dominant performance here from Kazuki.
Yeah, it certainly is. And the other thing to notice, folks, with the different drivers, the two World Championship Pro drivers there, their lap times have probably only dropped down maybe a second since the start of this race. They're lapping in the 125, 126s. If we look at third and fourth, they're now dropped down to the 128s, and then the rest of the field, most of them are in between the 126s up to the 130s or beyond. So it just goes to show that, I guess my point on all this rambling is the consistency as these tyres wear down, as the fuel loads lighten, the pro drivers can keep that consistent lap up.
It's definitely an eye opener, I guess, for the rest of us AusNZ guys who don't really have much to do with the Formula 1 and don't really watch the Grand Prix series. To have a couple Pro Series guys here and just blitz the rest of the field. A lot of these guys, some of these guys are extremely fast drivers within AusNZ itself, but definitely comparing it to the likes of Kazuki and Riley, they're just definitely just put in their place, and they're just looking like fodder at the moment. They're just mowing them down left, right and centre.
Yeah, but I tell you what, isn't it a great target to aim for? These guys like Scott and Aaron, third and fourth. I bet you after tonight they're going to be scratching their heads and wondering how they can get faster to hopefully take the battle or get the battle closer to Riley and Kazuki if those guys come back.
Yeah, one thing I've learned from AEC this year, especially with Mr. Michael Schreier, Scott is very competitive and he doesn't like being beaten. So he'll definitely be wanting to, improve upon his performance tonight, get faster, learn how to set that car up, and same with Aaron as well. By the sounds of it, he's exactly the same as Scott. They'll want to perform, they'll want to get better, want to take it to those guys more often. That's really the aim. It's kind of set a goal that, a lot of these guys will want to try and push for now and work at setting this car up and actually understanding how everything with this car works.
Yeah, and it's quite a complex thing to try to get your head around, isn't it? Trying to work out how to get the most out of these cars. I know the Redback boys, they do have quite a lot of assistance with, I guess you could call them a simulation racing engineer, I don't know, to help them set these cars up. But if you're trying to get your head around it by yourself, depending how good you are with engineering, it could be quite a tall order.
Yeah, Matthew Barron has actually just creeped up onto the back of Scott here, so he's actually making a move on the main straight here with DRS open for Scott for P4, so that came out of actually rather unexpectedly. I didn't see that coming, so Matthew's pushed his way back up. Scott will be not happy about that. He'll want to try and get that position back as Aaron's starting to get a bit of a gap, but if Scott can remain in that DRS zone, he'll definitely, be able to get him back, try and take it back to him down on the back straight, heading in towards Ascari and Parabolica.
Yeah, and I don't know where Matt Barron came from. Last time I saw him, he was in doing a pit stop, but looks like Scott also had a really slow run out of Della Roggia there, and one of the cars a lap down almost passed him, so maybe he's struggling a bit with the setup of this car.
Setup, or just late in the race, tyres starting to go off. It could potentially be that. I'm not sure. I'll have a chat with Scott, but as the lap car just goes by, I think Scott may be wise just to consolidate a top 5 position. That's still a very, very good finishing position for this race tonight. So if he can just consolidate a top 5, that'll still be a really solid finishing position. But yeah, Matthew Barron just came out of nowhere and he's just blitzed Scott now. So looking like P4 and P5 are now settled. Everyone else seems to have, a nice margin between them, and it's just trying to get to the end of this race with only 3 laps to go.
Yeah, well, we've just got the last lap margin now, and Kazuki spins it, holds onto it, but that was close, and that was down at Redafilo. He has got the last lap marker now, and I bet you he held his breath at that moment.
Yeah. He has the margin, so it wouldn't have been too great of a concern. He just would have wanted to get that car straightened out, back on the black stuff without any damage. So, having that margin up his hand has definitely, saved him there. But yeah, still 29 seconds, well, probably a few less seconds less than that now, back down to Riley. So there was no real drama there. He's got no pressure from anyone else. So hats off to Kazuki. That's definitely a very dominant performance, and as we said before, something to aim for.
Yeah, you've got to talk up the drama now that you're in the commentary. You have to create the story, Brant.
Oh, sorry. I'll get there eventually.
Yeah, we can see now Kazuki coming out of Ascari for the final time into Parabolica, and he's just got that corner to negotiate, and he will take out round 1 of the F1C pre-season championship here at Monza. Fantastic and a dominant drive there for Kazuki Umeshima.
Yeah, well done Kazuki, well done Radicals Online. They're very, very well known sim racing team, one of the top sim racing teams on iRacing in the world, so I didn't expect anything less. Qualifying pace between Nick and Aaron was very close. I was hoping Aaron might be able to take it to him more than he did, but to get the jump on him into turn 1 was, very good on Aaron's behalf. He got a ripper start, but yeah, Kazuki just owned the rest of this race. So well done on Kazuki for P1, Rowley on P2, and Aaron in P3. Nice to have one of the Redback boys on the podium there, Bernie.
Yeah, we can see there Riley doing a spin in celebration. He must be on top of the moon there, 46th, to get all the way through that field up to 2nd. It was expected, but the pace he did it at the start of that race was quite amazing to behold, as we see him now doing a few donuts. But yeah, Aaron would be very happy with that, coming home in 3rd position. He was about 56 seconds down, but he stayed on the lead lap, he kept it clean, he had a good race, and I think he'd be very happy with that. Yeah,
well done to Aaron, to get a podium position, to be pretty much the best of the rest here. That was, a very, very good, consistent drive from Aaron, so that was, well done on Aaron, well done on Matthew Barron as well for getting back into P4, and Scott for a P5. He'll be chuffed with that, that's for sure. Scott's in love with this car at the moment, so good to have an all-star car to give the team bit of a shout out. Good to have one of the boys up in P5 for a strong start.
It was definitely a fantastic drive, and that paint job, that's going to be tripping me up for the whole season, especially if we have some F1 guys out there running in the Ferrari setups. But let's go through the full results now, folks, so you can see where your favourite driver did finish in tonight's race. So congratulations, Kazuki Umeshima from Radicals, taking tonight's win, followed by Riley Preston, Evolution Racing Australia Logitech sponsored car. Aaron Lee comes home in third for Redback Racing. Matthew Barron, 1 lap down, home in fourth. Scott Kozlowski from All Star Motorsports in that Rack Corp entry, home in fifth. Aaron Farmer comes home sixth. Seventh was Scott McKee, followed by Jason Hyde in eighth. Shane Bowen comes home in ninth, and rounding out your top 10 is Evan Lathouris.
In P11 we had Brett Wilson, P12 we had Alex McCullough, P13 Paul Onegren, Guy Leach in P14, followed by Grant Hines, Joseph Falcomatter in P16, Kent Walker in P17, Damien Charleston in P18, Darryl Hockey in position 19, and Ryan Shelton in P20.
21st, Chris Barnes comes home 3 laps down. Nathan Groudon home in 22nd. 23rd, John Courtney, followed by Darryl Carter. Jamie Owens home in 25th. Brian Borg, 26th. Michael Hammond, 15 laps down. 27th, Ryan... Now, it's interesting, Ryan Parkins, 28th, but he was 1 lap down. Don't understand that. Mitchell Sealak in 29th, and 30th was Wayne Taylor.
Darren Scully in P31, Trey Ranke in P32, Jason Bentz position 33, Rory Boyd position 34. I think these are the retirees, are all from 20 odd laps down. TJ Brown, Mark Noble, Craig Jones, Darren Lassou, Dylan Shepherd, Matt Stratford down in position 40. It doesn't look like from position 40 to 47 took the grid, Bernie.
Yeah, or they didn't get 1 lap in. It could be that. I know Braden Bateman definitely wasn't on the grid. Shane Rayner, of course, wasn't. He's up here with us. And yeah, so very exciting racing, Shane. What did you think of that for the first round of this series?
Yeah, it was really, really good, and good to see some tin top boys from the V8s out there in the GT3 having some open wheel fun. The league's all about, experimenting with new cars. You might not be an expert, but if you get out there and have a bit of a crack, you might just like it.
Well, it definitely looks like quite a few guys did like it, and I know a lot of the guys in the club have been looking forward to it, to give the F1 a shot. So hopefully they've all had a really good time out there, and we can see if we can try and keep these numbers up. There will be a bit of drop off, of course, but it's looking healthy.
Yeah, it'd be good if we could keep some numbers up and get a regular crew racing. Obviously, it's very hard to get a F1 time slot for us Aussies. Like I do the official and I have to wait until 11 o'clock Saturday night, and then sometimes that doesn't happen and it's 1 o'clock in the morning Sunday morning before the first race happens. So it's really hard to get a drive in this car, and if you haven't got an A-class license, you can't drive it in official. So hopefully some drivers come in and give it a go, and they like it, because it's a great car, and if you can drive GT3 or V8, chances are you can drive this car. You just need to do a few weeks of practice and start to learn some of the little things in the car that make you go faster. Like, I'm not that fast, but I can run in the midfield with the official series, so some of the better drivers would probably run right up the front there if they gave it a bit of a go.
Yeah, and I think we'll see as those drivers get more laps under their belts. I think we're going to see these times get a lot closer between a lot of these drivers, and it'll be very exciting. But let's bring Alex McKellar up, because I'm interested to hear his point of view. Alex, of course, calls the Skippies with me on Monday Night Lights. He's also a very accomplished Skip Barber driver, so it'll be interesting to see what his thoughts are on the Formula One. Hi Alex, welcome to the RRTV Combox, mate. How's your heart rate going, and what was it like out there in the Formula One?
Yeah, g'day Bernie, g'day guys. It was interesting, the heart rate's up, the perspiration's up, but that was a blast, Bernie, I have to say. That was top fun, good clean racing, and I thoroughly enjoyed it.
and you came home in 10th position, which is pretty good. One lap down, but still, with the quality of drivers up there on the front, it looks like you were quite competitive there. You were racing up. Who'd you have around you? Guy Leachrider? Yeah. Who did you have around you?
Oh, there were a few around me, mate. I wasn't focusing on names, Bernie. I was focusing on keeping it on the track. This is my first week in one of these cars. I had to bind about 4 new buttons, Bernie, and I think I used every one of them multiple times. But mate, I had a couple of goals. One of them was to stay on the track and not have to pit and bring it home in one piece. Unfortunately, I had a couple of spins towards the end, but they were all on my own, mate. The quality of driving, the guys in and around me was fantastic, mate. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, it looked like a lot of fun, I must say. I don't know why you were trying to focus on the corners. It didn't look like these cars are that much quicker than a Skippy. What's your thoughts on that?
Just a touch quicker, mate. They handle so much differently. I think after a week, my assessment would be basically I don't know how to push the car to its limits. To be honest, I watched a few of the guys in practice, and they were throwing these things around the corners and getting it loose. I couldn't get the things loose. I was either full of grip or I was spinning, sort of thing. I couldn't run it close to the edge. I just didn't have the guts to push it after just such a small bit of practice. But I have to say the congratulations and hats off to the organisers. I mean, they had plenty of practice sessions up, a lot of practice for racing, starts, qualifying, the whole thing throughout the week. It was a pleasure to be a part of. Again, I really enjoyed it, mate, and I'm looking forward to hopefully running in the rest of the series.
Yeah, fantastic. I look forward to watching you race in the rest of the series as well.
Yeah, thanks, mate. Hopefully I can provide a bit of action here and there, but mainly for better results, mate. If I can keep it on the black stuff, I'll be happy week in, week out.
Yeah, well, when you get really confident in the car, I'm going to then have you sitting up here in the commentary channel, and we'll cross to you just as you've got all these cars all around you, so people can hear you swear and curse and sweat.
But mate, they'll hear me sweat. They won't be hearing me doing the other things, but I tell you what, I struggle to keep it straight, let alone talk to anyone while I'm doing it. Spectacular car, mate, spectacular race, massive field. I was just happy to be up somewhere near the safe end, so to speak, but having said that, everyone seemed to drive pretty well. I know there were a few incidents here and there, but I think it was all run in a really good spirit, mate. If that's what we're in for, bring it on.
Yeah, definitely. I'll second that. And the field tonight was absolutely enormous. And folks, if you're watching this and you're interested in jumping in and having some fun, go to the Australian New Zealand Road Racing Forum. I think that's it, isn't it, Shane? Or they can probably send you a PM if they need to. That's Shane Rayner too.
Yeah, they can go to AF1C, Australian F1 Championship in leagues, and just register there. It's nice and easy for them. We'll just put them through.
Fantastic. And of course, you know, when they're looking for the race, I found it was sitting under the league races, not under the hosted races. So if anyone couldn't find it and they were going to run, that's where to look.
Yeah, we put it up in the league because we had a lot of people join the league, and if we'd put it in hosted, we might have got people join and then leave and take spots away from other people that wanted to race and so on. So yeah, we put it up under league sessions.
Yeah, fantastic. Now, we've got Aaron Lee, Brett Wilson down there from Redback Racing. You know, I'm such a team player here, Brant. I'm thinking I'm just going to let you talk to him.
Oh, boy. Thanks, Bernie. Yeah, no, that's fine. Bring them up and we'll have a chat.
We can form like an interview panel. We've got Alex here, we've got Shane here. You can be the chairman and you can ask them, what did you think?
Oh, sounds like a plan. We'll bring up Aaron first, have a chat to him about his P3.
Yeah, no worries.
Hey Aaron, welcome to the RRTV Comms Box. First of all, congrats on an awesome P3 result. How was that out there racing with, a couple of pro drivers?
Hey Brett, yeah man, it was a very tough one tonight. We thought we had a good setup. We haven't driven the car much, and a little bit of testing here and there. Got a great quality setup, but when it comes to race, it looks like our tyres last about 6 laps, and then all of a sudden it's just off the cliff. And by the end of that race, I was 4 seconds off what I was doing earlier in the race, and the front two guys were maintaining that same lap speed. So we've got a bit of learning to do.
Yeah, so it definitely sounds like tyres are an important part with, not having to really, do a tyre stop for this race. Definitely sounds as though tyres will definitely be, something all teams will have to look at, those tyre pressures and how the car wears them out throughout the races.
Definitely, I think it's going to come down a little bit more than tyre pressures though. The car setup has to play a massive part in how it's degrading these tyres, especially it's such a complex car, and it's something that we haven't got our head around. We don't get a chance to drive this car very much, so it's a challenge that we're going to try and conquer, I think, over the next couple of months.
You said you had a very good qualifying setup, and Bernie and I were saying during qualifying, you're only 0.3 of a second off Suzuki during qualifying, so that that has to be a bit of a driving force to for you to improve and work at that setup, be able to eventually take it to Kazuki and Riley and show that there are more Australian and New Zealand drivers that can take it to these bigger, faster teams.
Oh yeah, definitely. Look, we were probably quicker than what we showed in qualifying, and every time I was up into the 22s, I made a silly mistake and cost me some time. So it's a matter of just overdriving the car and being so close and just pushing too hard. That was a personal mistake of mine, but the car was definitely there, and it was great for qualifying. But when it comes to the race, we just didn't have it, and a lot to learn. And these guys have been doing it for a little while. And just to come the best of the rest. I'm very proud of what we actually achieved tonight.
Yeah, got to take it off to that pretty much especially you, and then the next two Australian guys that didn't have pro licenses. Obviously, the top two have been Pro Series drivers at some point in time, so you expect them to be up the front. But to have really especially taking it to Kazuki in the first couple of laps there and actually getting a better start than him and overtaking him to turn one, that would have given you a bit of a confidence boost, I should say.
No, definitely. Look, it was great to just pull away that little bit at the start, but we couldn't maintain it, and that's possibly one of the things. I had really good tyres at the start, and they just went off the cliff. And look, Riley Preston's the benchmark here for the F1 here in Australia, and Kazuki definitely. They're both cracking drivers, and to finish behind them, to even battle it in the beginning or being so close in qualifying is very promising. And for the Redback boys, we've got a long way to go. But look, it's all a learning curve. We don't get to play with the car too much here. There's not really an official time slot that we can sort of play with every day or every couple of days, so it's all about private testing and seeing how we go, and we didn't get it right for the race, but we'll definitely go back to the drawing board.
No, you definitely showed that there are other teams out there in Australia that can take it to well and truly the Formula 1 level guys, so I'll palm it off now to Alex and Shane and see if they have any other questions for you.
Thanks, Brad.
I do. First of all, congratulations, Aaron. That was a great race from you. That to finish third in a race like that is awesome. Do you think maybe the tyre pressures and the tyre dampeners is what let you down? The dampener not being adjusted to the tyre pressure.
It's hard to say.
That loading one. The tyre loading dampener.
It's hard to say. If I knew exactly what it was, I'd probably go fix it now. But it's going to come down to a lot of testing, or maybe asking from these guys and seeing if Kazuki or Riley actually want to let out a few of those secrets. Probably won't. But just to learn, and something so complex about these cars, and if you're in a GT3 tyre pressures, you can sort of play around with them, and you can sort of get into that ballpark, but we thought we were in the ballpark, and like I said, it lasted 6 laps and just fell off the cliff, and in the end there I was doing 29 and 30 second laps, and that was just nowhere near competitive enough. But look, it's definitely a learning curve. We're going to go and test, and we've got this series starting in January, so we've got a little bit of time to play around, and hopefully by then we're going to have our head around it. Probably not, but we'll definitely keep moving forward.
Yeah, it's an interesting car, because I think if you drive other cars, you can learn this car pretty quickly. Like it's not hopping from the V8 to the GT3. It's not so similar. It's sort of that big gap in how you drive this car means that you can sort of switch to this car without too many problems, if you know what I mean.
No, definitely. You know, the driving style of the guys, you can adapt quite well to it. It's not that difficult to drive. It's quite difficult to drive it quickly. It's just coming down to setup and getting your head around everything. Like you were saying, you know, dampening tire pressures, and there are so many different things, aero, that can affect your tire deck in this car. And that's one of those things you got to find a great balance. And these two guys up front have been doing it for a while, and you know, good on them. But they are the benchmark, and we're going to chase them as much as possible. Probably won't get there, but we're definitely going to do our best to learn and you know, put pen to paper and just keep chugging forward.
Tough track too, Monza. It's not as easy as it looks. There's probably other tracks that will bunch it up a little bit more than this track.
Yeah, Monza's a cool track. It doesn't look so complex, but those chicanes, if you hop the curbs in the right way or at the right speed, you go over them perfectly. If you go a little bit too quick, you end up airborne, and especially when those tyres went off, it was just so hard to get through any of those corners. And look, I enjoy Monza. You know, we thought we had a good race set up, but you know, we've got a lot to learn.
Yeah, well done, mate.
Cheers, Shane.
Yeah, fantastic, Aaron. Really great performance there. Understand you're also expecting another child very shortly, and it was doubtful whether you'd actually make the race tonight.
Well, my second son was born at 9 o'clock this morning, actually. And I used my 3-year-old as an excuse to come home. He needed to go home and sleep, so I put him to bed and quickly jumped on.
Well, congratulations. That's. I don't know how you're going to explain that one.
Sorry, I should have laughed, but that's quite ingenious. So, congrats on the newborn. And yeah, brilliant strategy there with the 3-year-old needing to quote unquote sleep.
Yeah, no, it worked a treat.
Did you name the newborn Aaron, Ayrton, I should say, or Michael?
No. That little man's called Jordan.
Lewis?
So he'll be there.
Maybe?
He'll be there, don't worry. He's the next generation coming through in many years. And but I recently purchased an open wheel race car and said to my young bloke, when you're as big as me, I'll give you a drive. He goes, no, Daddy, I'm going to drive the Ferrari race car. I said, oh, yeah, we'll start saving.
What's his name, Nico?
No, he's getting there. AJ's awesome. He jumps on my sim, and he's 3 years old and knows which way to turn the corners. It's just crazy. But no, look, you know, hopefully one day they'll be in a car and they'll enjoy it. But yeah, no, look, you know, little Jordan was born 9 o'clock this morning, and I just hope my missus, probably not, but I hope she doesn't see the broadcast. But love you, babe.
Yeah, well, when you get back and your son says, "Daddy raced last night," you're going to be in deep trouble.
It's going to go, yeah, mate, yeah, do you want a lollipop?
Bribery with lollies, it always works.
Exactly right. Nah, all good, mate. Thanks very much for the wrap, guys. It's an absolute pleasure, and it's going to be a good series. Hopefully we can learn by we get to learn the car a bit more by this first round, and we'll dig a little deeper.
Yeah, fantastic. But before you go, as always, give a shout out to your sponsors, and then we'll kick you out and bring Brett up, and he can dish the dirt out on you.
All good. Thanks to RRTV. You guys are fantastic sponsors of our team, Redback, and also Secure Safe Storage. Without you guys, we wouldn't be anywhere. So thanks very much for all your support and building this team to where they are today. And Bernie, mate, you're a legend. Thanks, boys.
Yeah, see you, mate.
Wait.
Awesome. I've always wanted to be a legend.
Oh well, you got your wish tonight, Bernie.
All right, let's bring up Mr. Wilson, and then we're going to bring up Scott after that. I'm only bringing up Brett first because he was sitting there for a bit, and then you can interview your own driver and see if how you go with that, hey?
No, sounds ideal.
Hi, Brett. Welcome to RRTV, and we just had a chat there with Aaron, and he did a fantastic job there, coming in third. We're having a look. Where'd you finish? About 11th, so a good showing from you as well.
Yeah, thanks, Bernie. Good day, guys. Not too bad. Yeah, Aaron did fantastic tonight. Did well. There's probably a lot more left in the tank, actually. Just reviewing some of the laps. But wow, what a series! If this is a sign of things to come, this is going to be fantastic.
it definitely looks awesome, doesn't it? I was amazed at how many cars took to the grid, and it looked like a lot of fun, it must be said, and looked like you were having a bit of fun there.
Yeah. Look, I probably did about 10 laps worth of practice, so I thought, you know what, top 10 might be achievable, and yeah, it was just good to be back in the car. Like I used to race the Williams F1, and we've never done any racing in this, so we we're kind of quite excited. And yeah, it's just a bit unfortunate. I was just got turned around. Not very good at qualifying, so started 13th, turned around in corner 1, dropped to the back, and then tyres went off. Like, yeah, I was crippled after 4 laps. I was really struggling, and kept with it. And then halfway through the race, got hit from behind, so I had to pit, and had a good battle in the end there. I think I was trying to go for top 10, and then had an awesome battle with Evan. I think we came across the line like neck and neck there. So it was good. Although there was a few mishaps, it was such an enjoyable race. Like, I've probably never done so many things with my hand other than turn left and right. It was just phenomenal. It was great.
Fantastic, because I know you and Aaron were both looking forward to the Formula One, and it's great to see both of you out there having a lot of fun as well. Aaron's he's a sneaky man, isn't he? Sneaking home and having a run tonight, and hoping his wife doesn't watch the broadcast.
Did you guys hear about the fantastic news as well?
Yeah, he broke it here. It was an exclusive, so that was good.
Excellent. He'll be another one we'll recruit in a few years, don't you worry. Top 10, and then had an awesome battle with Evan.
I might have to change that. I might have to trim to All-Star before you guys do.
Yes, it was good.
But yeah, awesome race tonight, Brett. We were focusing on you at one point in time in P8, battling for 3-way train there for, P8, 9, 10, 11. So that looked as though you were having a bundle of fun out there and some awesome racing.
Yeah, thanks, Brett. Yeah, it was. It was good to be up there. Like, we didn't really know what to expect coming into this race, this limited practice we had. And look, the car takes 10 minutes to drive, lifetime to master. Like, you see the pros that were in there tonight, Riley and Kazuki. Man, to see Aaron battling up there with them was fantastic. And it just goes to show we've got a lot to do before the round actually starts in January. So thankfully we've got a couple more practice rounds, and just try and build upon there. Try keep in the top 10. I think that's a realistic goal for most of us here.
Yeah, fantastic. Sorry I dropped out. What happened was the replay of the broadcast started, and I thought you were still talking. So anyway, Brett, thanks for... It's just nuts here. That's how professional we are.
Well done, Brett.
Yay. Thanks, guys. Great job tonight too with the broadcast. I have to go back and watch it. Check it out. And to the organisers as well, Shane, it's great. It's coming along well, mate. Keep it up.
Yeah, hoping that round 1, which is Imola, will be a good racetrack for everyone.
Oh, looking forward to it. Might have to try and have a word with the pros, see if I can share some tips.
Yeah, the tyres are tricky, aren't they? They seem to... you get them a little bit wrong, and I raced an official race at Brazil, and I thought my car was really well set up in the practice sessions, and then when I went to race, and I just couldn't hit the times I was hitting in the practice.
Yeah, very much so like that. I found too the brake application as well. I was fiddling around a fair bit trying to adjust because I'd get a bit of front lock, could manage that, and then rear. I don't know if that was due to damage and stuff, like the way that it was coming on or the mode I might have been in. So it's very interesting though. Very keen to unravel that mystery. That's for sure.
Yeah, I hear that if you have your brake bias more to the rear, it recharges your ERS quicker.
Yeah, right. Okay. Well,
yeah,
duly noted.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I didn't know it until the other day either, and I was watching one of YouTube videos or something, and they mentioned it.
There you go. I've just started my new book. There we have it.
Yeah. Also, I've noticed in real life Formula One and also in the iRacing Pro Series and that when they do the hot laps on YouTube and stuff, they change gear very quickly in when it gets to red line. Like they don't hold red line. They just straight away change when the blue lights come on, and that's because the car reaches top speed before it hits full red line.
Yeah, I was going to say that. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's something for maybe guys that are starting to learn this car to maybe think about changing that gear a bit quicker.
Most definitely. Probably also popping into the forums, having a look around. Like, I think benefit of having a league starting up like this will also increase the number of participation as well in official races, I believe. You know, especially if they align with the same tracks. So, yeah, I'm sure you'll see a lot more people buzzing around in the MP430 forums.
Yeah, I hope so. That's why we started this, and we're trying to share as much information as we can about the car and how to set it up, and whatever I learn I pass on to try and help people, and there's certainly some good drivers out there, and tonight it was good. It was really good. It was very clean, and considering how many cars went down into turn one at the start there, it was really good racing, and I think Australians and New Zealanders and even the internationals that came into the series, they're very respectful of the people they're racing, which is good to see.
No, it really was. It really was good to see.
Fantastic, Brett. I'm going to kick you out now, mate. And we've got Scott Kozlowski down there to have a chat as well. And yeah, so good result, 11th tonight. And we'll see how you go in the next couple of rounds.
No worries. Thanks, guys. Have a good evening. Thanks for having me.
So, folks, our final interview for tonight is Scott Kozlowski, and he was with All Star Motorsports. Well, he still is, and we've got the team owner up here. So, Brant, I'm going to hand it over to you, and you can grill your driver.
Oh, sounds good. Public debrief, I love it.
Yeah, it's awesome, isn't it? It's just us four listening.
Hey Scotty, welcome to the RRTV comms booth. Some job on P5 tonight, man. Well done. You've got to be happy with that.
Yeah, thanks, Brent. No, it was good fun. I was a bit bummed that I couldn't finish P4, best of the rest. But hey, I can't be too unhappy with P5. There was some pretty quick pedalers in there, and it was the first actual race in the F1 car. It was good to have a good hit out.
We've heard from a couple of the Redback racing drivers that tyres went off really early on within the race. How were yours? Did they kind of linger throughout the race, or did they kind of just drop off massively early on?
I was pretty wary of the fact that the tyres probably weren't going to hold up too well for the whole 35 laps, so I tried my best to manage them as best as I could, but my heavy right foot wasn't helping me with that in any way, shape or form, and especially those chicanes. There's some pretty heavy traction points, so it's hard to make the tyres wear out. I actually said in the server chat I'd kill for a set of new tyres at about lap 20. So those last 10 or 15 laps are pretty slippery.
I saw you had a couple moments there that allowed Aaron to, latch back onto you. What was it like having the strategic side of that coming out, with the DRS opening up and, continuously overtaking each other? Was that something new you haven't really experienced before with only, really running the C7 and GT3s and All-Star?
Yeah, that's exactly right. It's a totally new experience driving the F1 car in iRacing, especially where you sort of got to assess the race a little bit. You got to anticipate possibly being overtaken like I was, and knocking the engine setting back maybe a click or two to try and save up some battery power, so that when it was my turn to have DRS, I had something to fight with. So it was actually a good little element that was added to the racing, and I'll tell you what, there weren't too many times in the race where I wasn't changing diff settings or engine mapping or something, brake balance or something crazy like that to try and make the car do what I wanted.
Yeah, Formula 1 is generally a thing that none of the All-Star boys have really touched with. So yeah, I've definitely got to take my hats off to you as team manager tonight, for an awesome P5 finish. That's a very, very strong result against, what you said, some very strong and competitive, best of the rest in Oz and Z, and no doubt seeing what Riley and Kazuki can do. No doubt that that'll act as a driving force to try and learn this car more for the following 2 pre-season races we have, and for the main start of the series in January next year.
Yeah, for sure. I'll tell you what, it's pretty demoralising. You reckon you're doing all right, and then Kazuki and Riley fly past you like you're standing still. So there's a couple of practice laps that need to be done. Try and hopefully hold my own against those boys. But yeah, I'll try and aim for best of the rest, and hopefully we can have a good crack at the championship. It was a good starting point tonight. A lot of guys turned out, so hopefully that participation continues into next year. I think the Oz NZ community really needs a solid Formula One championship, and maybe some of those guys to go on to the world champs and race against some of the other guys around. So a good Oz NZ championship with a good participation rate weekly is a good place to start for that. And as a massive F1 fan, I'm more than too happy to jump in the McLaren.
Yeah, I had a feeling you were going to say that. I'm surprised you're not running a Formula One, Ferrari livery on it, to be brutally honest. I'm happy you're running the Rack colours, so that's all good.
That's your doing.
Yeah, that is my doing. Any of you other guys got any questions for Scott at all?
Great effort, Scott. I wouldn't be hanging my head in shame in 5th in a F1 race of 46 cars. I reckon that's a top effort.
Yeah, thanks, Shane. I was quietly impressed with how many people that turned up tonight. I was sort of thinking, maybe 25, maybe even 30 blokes would turn up and have a good crack. But no, it was a really good field, and a lot of the other thing too was there was quite a range of experience. You had world championship level drivers all the way down to blokes who are having a crack for the first time. So it was good for provided a couple of challenges there, trying to navigate around some traffic, but all in all, it was pretty good fun.
Yeah, and that's the good thing that we're trying to do. We're trying to get people interested in it, because get them out of the tin tops and get them into open wheel. And the F1 car is the top open wheel car, and I think people are scared of it because of the setup, and they think it's going to take too long to learn or too hard to set up. But I think if you look around in the forums and you ask around and you go into a few practice sessions, you'll find that people share their setups and give you a few tips here and there, and that all helps to get your head around the car.
That's absolutely right. It's not as secretive as not everyone's holding their cards as close to their chest as maybe something like a V8 series or something like that. Especially when we all understand that 90% of the field's learning, and most of the boys are all too happy to lend a hand or give some advice or even share a setup. To at least give a point in the right direction, and the easier we make it for everyone else, the more likely people are to jump in and have a crack, and that only grows the series.
Yeah, I hope more people give it a go, because it's a very underrated car. It's a fantastic thing to drive.
Yeah, for sure. There definitely is a steep learning curve to be fast and consistent at it, but it's probably the most rewarding car in the service to rag a lap, for sure.
Yeah, I agree, absolutely. You're not going to be a pro driver in 5 weeks, but you can have so much fun with this car that it doesn't matter if you're in the mid, the lower, or the front of the pack. It's the experience of having that car and going to races and having fun with it.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, fantastic, Scott. I know you'd like to be in Ferrari colours, and I think the front end of your car definitely looks like a Ferrari. It's been confusing me all night. So if you look forward, just pretend you're in Ferrari and you'll be fine.
Yeah, I think we got to talk to our livery creators and see if we can sneak a prancing horse on there.
Blame Nathan for that one, not me. I'm not touching Formula One. But yeah, awesome results. And before you head off, do you just want to give our awesome sponsors a shout out like we always do every race?
Yeah, for sure. All the boys at Rack Court, they do a good job for us, and I like to. They would have hopefully got some good airtime tonight in the car, so those boys got to be happy.
Yeah, there was certainly a lot of airtime for you with that against Darren. That was probably one of the best battles throughout the race. Lasted probably the longest as well. You were fighting side by side, half a dozen laps quite easily. So awesome job to bring it home in P5. And hopefully all the boys at RACcorp are happy. And one happy team manager, that's for sure.
That's the main thing.
Fantastic. Well, thanks for coming up, Scott. We look forward to seeing you next round and seeing you in that in the top 5. Hopefully, further up the field would be good. Not that I'm putting any pressure on you. That's Brent's job.
Yeah, that's exactly right. No,
thanks, Bernie.
No, we'll try and push hard and move up. Maybe even rag a podium.
Awesome. Okay, well, we're coming to the end of this broadcast tonight, folks. There's a few shout-outs I want to give out, though, and just having a look here. I think it was Ryan Shelton, American. Fantastic, the only American in the field. This guy, he started 41st. He come home 20th tonight. So an awesome effort there by Ryan. I know he's not listening because he went off to bed, but it's great to have him having a run here tonight, Shane.
Yeah, Ryan used to drive in SDRT, my old V8 team. So yeah, good to see him back in there. He's driving for PMS now. So there was a few PMS boys out there, a few Redbacks, a couple of KRFs and the like. So some familiar names out there from the V8 series. Good to see them having a go in the open wheel.
Yeah, it certainly is. And Brant, we saw a few mover and shakers. We saw Riley Preston dead last up to...
what a drive.
Oh, it was an awesome drive, wasn't it, Shane? But
I mean, pro driver or not, he had to pass everyone to get back up there, so it was pretty impressive.
Yeah, well, I thought he was done when he got in that concertina, and his car actually went up in the air, and I thought, okay, he's done, but no damage. Off he went, and just kept on going forwards. But there's I guess my point was he started 46, and it was to be expected that he'd sort of move his way up. I was surprised how quickly he moved his way up. It was pretty awesome to watch.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah,
I think it was 5 laps he'd moved up 30 odd positions, so it's definitely an eye opener for the rest of the boys, as we said throughout the race. What just one of these pro drivers can do, and using it strategically with the DRS 2 times a lap just to pick everyone off. Effectively, 2 or 3 cars per lap, and he was well and truly up there in no time. So yeah, hats off to Riley for an awesome drive, and hats off to Kazuki for what was an utterly dominant performance.
And good patience and presence of mind too by Riley to wait to the right moment, not to just do a blind dive bomb and wreck himself out. He was quite smart about how he went about it.
I definitely was. He was also, as Brant said, he'd sit behind a lapped car and then he'd get the DRS and blitz it down. So he was getting DRS probably twice a lap, which he was using to his advantage, and he was doing it just using the lapped cars, which was shows the sort of insight these guys have at that level of racing. And I'm sure if a few blokes were watching the replay back, they might see those techniques they can try themselves.
Yeah, absolutely, for sure. Yep, and that's the same in the official series. You kind of patience rewards you in this car. You've got to save up your ERS. You've got to wait for your DRS zones. You've got to use your slipstream. Look after your tyres. There's a lot of strategy in how you use the power of the F1 car. It's not just a blind dive bomb up the side, because if you make contact, chances are you're going to break something, and if you break anything other than the front wing, you're out. You can't get it repaired. So. There's a lot of strategy in the car, and it works. You can be there. You got to be there at the end to win.
Yeah, for sure. And Alex, mate, what were you thinking when Riley came up behind you?
How can I get out of the way and let this guy who's zooming up behind me go past cleanly, He came from nowhere and just zoomed by me. I was suffering like most people with tyre degradation, although I don't think I pushed the car enough, like I said, to really make the tyres drop off. So my laps were sort of consistently sluggish the whole way round. So it wasn't until the last couple of laps when I really felt it and had a couple of spins. But watching Riley zoom by was quite impressive, actually. I recognised the name and knew that I wasn't going to hold him up, which is pretty much what I did with anyone who looked like they were quicker, but Riley was certainly one out of the box.
Yeah, it was amazing to watch how he could place the car, and just the confidence he had in it was brilliant to watch. But I guess, Brant, any final thoughts before we end the broadcast tonight?
Just thank you for the broadcast again, Bernie. Hats off to you, Shane and Evan, for your work to get the league up and running. It looks as though you've definitely got a very happy, well, I wouldn't say cohort, but happy group of drivers taking part in it, and I can only hope that the awesome racing we saw tonight carries on not only throughout the next two pre-season races, but well and truly into next year, and hope the series only goes bigger and better, and hopefully we might be able to it'd be awesome to see another couple pro drivers and really show what the faster boys can do.
Yeah, thanks, mate. We've got some good Aussie drivers out there, that's for sure. We see them in all sorts of different cars racing, and I think if we can get them into the open wheel F1 car, they'll do really well.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be something to see, that's for sure. And folks, the broadcasts keep on coming on here on RRTV. We, of course, don't have the Monday night lights this Monday night, but we will be back on the 17th of December for the fourth round of the Blancpain Endurance Series. And Alex, I hopefully you'll be back with me, and hopefully we can get the top split this time through.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. I'm looking forward to that one. I was really excited when we did the first one. As you say, it'd be nice to get the right split, but that was a challenge in of itself. So, throw in 50 odd cars, similar to tonight, I guess, and then another 50 odd drivers on top of that. You got to try and remember who's where and what team and all the rest of it. Complicated logistically, but action packed, and really excited to have the pro qualifying series, Bernie.
Yeah, it certainly is, and folks, the word is we could have, up to 5 and possibly 6 Aussie teams in there with a shot this time through. So it's definitely something to have a look at, and that's next Saturday night. But after that, I'm going to have a well-earned rest for probably about a month, but then RRTV will be coming back mid-January, and I'm working on our broadcasts not as we speak, because I'm doing this. I am working on our schedule, and I will be releasing that to our viewers shortly, so you can see what to look forward to. But also, I'd like to thank the viewers tonight. Fantastic result also. We had about 22 live viewers tonight, which is awesome for a new series, Shane. So it looks like the viewers are on board as well.
Yeah, it was a pretty good race, I must say. I've watched a lot of iRacing races over the last couple of years, and I was excited to watch those F1 cars, especially with such a big field. That was good. Thanks to you guys too. That awesome for you to live cast it for us, and I think it will grow with those 20 odd viewers telling 20 of their friends to get on and have a look.
Yeah, well, 22 viewers is good, and then normally it'll go out to all our other subscribers, and hopefully we'll get a few views on it as well. But anyway, folks, thanks for joining us tonight. I hope you enjoyed our live coverage of the Australian Formula 1 Championship. It's definitely been a pleasure calling it. I'd also like to thank Brent Tucker for being up here and commentating with me, as well as Shane Rayner for organising this great event, and of course Mr. Alex McCullough for getting out of the way of the faster drivers.
That's about all I can manage tonight, mate. But one of the golden rules is don't take out the quicker guys, mate. You won't get invited back. So I think we achieved that.
Yeah, so on that note, folks, I'd like to wish you all a very good evening. I look forward to having your company again next week. And until then, have a good night and start that Christmas shopping.
Yeah, Merry Christmas,